Section 4.2, solving by substitution. So first things first, when you check your answer, if it doesn't check but you actually got an answer, then you made the mistake. There's a mistake somewhere. It doesn't mean that they don't intersect. If you worked out all the math and your answer doesn't check, there's a mistake. So when we talk about substitution, this means, think about like in a basketball game, when you substitute players. You're just having one player coming in to take the position of another. It's the same thing as far as math. We want to get one variable by itself and substitute that value into the other equation. It doesn't matter whether you get this one, this one, this one, or this one by itself. You've got 4 options. Generally, going one or two ways is going to be a little bit easier on you, but it doesn't really matter which path you go. So I'm going to start by getting that x by itself. So when we do that, you subtract the 3y to the other side. And now we can take this value of x and substitute into x in the other equation. So I'm just going to start by rewriting. And now instead of x, I'm going to write this because x is the same thing as that. So x is 9 minus 3y. And now if you notice, this equation is down to one variable. So we can solve this just like we did back in chapter 2. Now that we have a value of y, we can go back to either original equation to figure out our x. It doesn't matter which equation you go back to, just make sure you go back to an original. I'm going to go back to that first one. So that means our answer is -3, 4. Remember, ordered pairs go x, y. One thing, make sure you're checking your answers. So when you want to check it, make sure you always go back to your original equations. And it checks, so you're good. Alright, in this next one, it's the same thing. We can pick any of our 4 variable options to get to the same ending. So this first one, I'm going to go ahead and work with this to just get y by itself because there's not going to be any dividing. But once again, it doesn't matter which route you go. So that step right here, I divided by -1. So now we take this value of y and substitute it in for y into the other equation, and in this case it'll be that first one. So we get 0 equals 0. Since this is a true statement, 0 does equal 0. What this means is that they are the same line. So think back to the last section in 4.1 when we graphed them. If they were the same line, we wrote our answers so that they were in terms of x, or you could have in terms of another variable. So remember, we wrote them in x and then something else. Well, lucky for us, we already have what y equals right here. And so we just write it here like that. So any number that follows this pattern, once you pick your x, this will automatically determine that second coordinate. Anything that follows this pattern is going to be on that line. Solving by substitution, we can pick this x, this y, this x, or this y to get by itself to start. Doesn't matter. I'm going to go ahead and just start with this first one and get y by itself. And once you have that one, since we start with the first equation, now we've got to move to the second one. Now 24 and negative 24 are not the same thing. This is a false statement. So what this means is that there is no solution because they are actually parallel lines. So think back to when we graphed them. They would be parallel lines. They're never going to intersect. Once again, doesn't matter which one we solve to get a variable by itself. I'm just going to go ahead and do this one, divide everything by 5. And then substituting that into the second one. So now we have a value for y, substitute that back in for our y to get our x value. I'm just going to go back into this one. So we get our ordered pair is 3, 0. Now don't forget, we need to check our answer. And there we have it. Don't forget that if your answer doesn't check, it doesn't mean that there's no solution. It means you made a mistake somewhere.